Sorry.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so welcome to the Collegiate Blog Mentoring Program panel discussion. I'm here with two other mentors from the mentoring program. My name is Joanka Petulka. I am a Brown University student. I'll be an incoming freshman this fall after having taken a gap year, and I'll be studying computer science.
So I'm Jennifer Tran. I'm also a co-leader with Uganda at the Collegiate Blog. I am a junior at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, and I will be majoring in urban studies and minoring in community action and models and data.
My name is Hyobin Yu, but I go by Justin due to pronunciation issues. I've been a mentor before. I'm currently a sophomore at Pomona College in Claremont, California.
All right, cool. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through some questions about being a mentor and how what roles do we play as mentors in the mentoring program. So I guess we can start off with the first question. The first question is, other than having good knowledge on the college admissions process, what is another characteristic or trait that all successful mentors should strive to have?
Well, I can answer that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, some of these mentees, they have a very personal story. They need to be able to talk to you. I'm sure they can talk with their parents and they can get some help. But as a mentor, I think it's very important to be able to get help from someone near your age who can understand what you're going through. That will help them write that essay because they have a personal support. They can work through the little details. So it's very important for you to be trustworthy, kind, not condescending, and understanding where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also think that a lot of mentors who actually come through the program think that they'll automatically be a good mentor as long as they have good knowledge about the college admissions process and how to apply as a low-income student. I think it's also really valuable to have, social skills and have, social assets per se, like understanding when your mentor needs help, when your mentee needs help, because like a lot of mentors have all this knowledge, but when they see a mentor need help or a mentee need help, they don't necessarily help them right away. They might wait on something or they might be hesitant themselves. And so I've seen a lot of mentors who have really good knowledge, who've gone through CrossBridge, POSSE, all these prestigious programs, but they fall off the crack. They don't talk to the mentor. They don't follow up with their mentee, and it's just really frustrating that, like, you as a mentor, it's really crucial that you know how to speak with your mentee and really understand when they need help. It's just like a social thing that you learn as you have more experience as a mentor.
Right. And something else I'd like to add, yeah, of course, as mentors, we have to, it's such a great trait to be able to motivate our mentees. Because I think we all know what it's like to go through the college admissions process alone and without any guidance. So from people our age group, we can definitely motivate them. And as mentors, we also have a network that we build. So we definitely have that connection where we could reach out to the other mentors who go to different schools and ask them questions and set up our own mentees with perhaps another mentor so they could better answer questions about their colleges. So yeah, is there anything else you guys want to add to that? No. Okay, so the next question is, how do you coordinate your schedule as a college student as a mentor? I think you guys would have a better answer with this one than me.
Well, for me, even when I was young, I was in a lot of places where I could be a mentor. I volunteered at places like Boys and Girls Club of America, and so I have experience trying to fit something in the schedule. In your middle school, you have a lot of time, and as you grow up, you just fill it with the same thing. So I'm replacing that with being a mentor here. So for me, it's kind of normal for me to have this kind of mentor time. Maybe a few hours, within the day to be able to handle this kind of thing.
Yeah, so as a junior in college, I've done this similar to Justin for a really long time, and I realized able to probably find a time that you know that you and your mentee has time. Like for example, I always schedule it out like maybe 1 or 2 hours each weekend, like in a time frame that I know that my mentee will be online. So I know that I can contact them right away. And also it's also really helpful on your part just to have your mentee be really motivated and to send things early to you, because sometimes it could be really hard to actually meet deadlines to review their essay on time or to give them advice when they're sending things to you like the day before. So just in, including you scheduling it out like 1 or 2 hours each week that every single week you can talk to your mentee. Also make sure that your mentee knows that you are a college student and that you also have a lot of work and you can't get to them right away, just to let them know that you can't be spending hours the night before helping them on their college application. It's really important to let them know that as well.
Mm-hmm. One question that I do have that branches from this question is, what advice do you guys have for incoming mentors? People who haven't yet or not yet in college but will be mentors their freshman year. What advice do you have for people who are trying to balance the mentor and college life schedule?
Yeah.
Well, mentoring, can be difficult, on your first time because for me, last year was my first time, and handling this kind of thing was kind of difficult when, they would ask, hey, this scholarship is due tomorrow. Can you look over it tonight? And, you don't really have that time because you have some college essay or something. But, now that we're putting into something of a place where they have to notify a little bit earlier, they're motivated enough to finish early. It's better, and it's for us, as mentors, I think it's better for us to know in advance so that we can tell them, I have time to do it. I'll make sure to do it on, Tuesday night. Or if they can't, there's other mentors that you can reach out to if they are not an expert in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it might be really beneficial for your mentee to just make a spreadsheet of all their due dates, including fly-in programs, college applications, scholarship applications, just so you have that, and they'll share it to you, and so you have it, and you can see like the days in which or the times in which they'll have things due. Most of the time you find that a lot of things we do in October and December, and so you can kind of find find time in those months in which you'll be able to work and help them on their college admissions application. So you can also benefit from the next couple of weeks. You won't be in school yet, so you can like do a lot of your work now and also capitalize on a lot of holidays in which you and them actually have time together and work on things like Columbus Day, or if your mentee is applying RD, they can focus a lot of their time during winter break as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it'll help to inform our mentees, like what our schedules are like, and also let them know that that they should talk to you in advance about things so that you do have enough time to help them out. Our next question is, what is the most rewarding part about being a mentor? Oh, I could start with that question. I think a really rewarding part about being a mentor is watching the progress of the mentees at the beginning of senior year. Mentees are asking lots of questions. They don't know technical terms, or they're asking about colleges or colleges to apply for, and it's really satisfying knowing that you've helped them realize how to compile a list of colleges, or how well they can write their essays, or how persuasive they can be. So, for example, if they have me look over an essay and I return it to them with some comments, and once they go over through my comments, and once I read it again after their re-edits, like it's just really, the essays will come back more profound and more illustrative, and I think that's very satisfying.
Yeah, in general, at first when you first meet them, it's really awkward. I mean, you're not seeing them face to face usually, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just talking to each other. What's your name? What's your interest? But at the end, they definitely become your friend, and seeing your friends succeed, go to great places, especially the fact that you had some input and that they've been motivated enough to do this themselves with our help, and um, in the final result when they go to a place where they're happy, you feel happy yourself. It's very rewarding to see that.
Yeah, so all of our mentees are really smart, but the thing is, when I first mentored here, I realized that they didn't have the information that they needed in order to really go to a school that fit them. And for me, like I was really happy when I was able to tell certain students that they could do better than they can do better and they can get like a really good financial aid package at a really good school, and when their guidance counselor or their parent wasn't really telling them that. So actually just being a support system to them and like having them have someone that really can motivate them and really believes in them, I thought that was the reason why I really wanted to mentor, and also the reason why I continue mentoring, because I see students that have all this potential and someone in their people in their lives aren't really telling them that. Just for me to be telling some like a really ambitious person, a really smart person that they can do very well, really makes me proud, because I know that I could be their support system and I could be the person that really makes them live up to their potential.
Right. Our, yeah, that's really good points. Moving on to the next question, though, is as a mentor, how do you know when to assist your mentee on certain aspects of the application process and when to let them do their own work? Because I do think there's a line or a point where you can assist them, and there is a line where you might be doing their work for them. So how do you know when to step back?
Right. I think that kind of happened when I first got involved. I wanted to be on, help them in every single aspect, but they one mentee, found that it was a little bit found a dependence in the fact that I will be always be there for them. And of course, I was in college my first year. I was having some difficulties of my own. I'm being busy and things like that. And it's important to step back and let them look at their own work, make sure that it's their own story they're telling instead of you digesting it and spitting out your own instead of their own life story. And in certain, it's very important to step up to talk to your mentees about specific processes. For example, one of my mentees had difficulty in interviews. She was really nervous and fidgety, and she told me that when we started, but then as it came near, she didn't really mention it at all. And after we talked, we decided to have a few Skype practice interviews, and she was very happy about that. So I think just being able to talk with your mentee openly about the weakness and strengths, that you can establish some kind of stable relationship.
Yeah, I also would like to reiterate that not not only do we have these students as mentees, we want to prepare them to become mentors, and also want to prepare them as college students. So really giving them a task like researching about college, or having them read, instead of you telling them the basics of the CSS profile, something, have them read the document about it, would really prepare them to not only learn independence, learn how to be good mentors, and also learn how to be, maybe prepare them even for college, because that's something that they have to do, is be independent when they're in college. So one thing that I realize is that if the mentee is asking like really basic questions, you probably can find like a really good document, a really good website they can read over, and then you can talk to them about like, hey, what did you learn through that website? And then they'll tell you, I learned about this. And if like they miss something really critical, you can try to fill in those gaps. But definitely they don't necessarily like tell them everything like basic, or like even like things that that they can probably research on their own. it's really helpful that they can get a grasp of research and reading, and also learning how to be independent. So a lot of things that you can help them with is something that's really a little bit more complicated, or just try to steer into the good direction of, here's a good website that you can look at, or here's a good college that you can look at. And here are some people I can connect you with, but don't necessarily tell them everything.
Right. Yeah, and I have kind of a similar story to Justin's. So this my last year was my first time mentoring, and since I was on a gap year, I had a lot of time to talk to my mentees and edit their essays, and I respond to their messages almost instantly. So this year, what I really want to work on is, like Jennifer, like you said, having them look online or providing them with resources or websites that could really help them. And also something that's also helped is having your mentee on a timeline with you. For example, you could, like I would tell them, oh, by the end of this month we could come out with an SAT prep plan, or share a Google Doc with me so that I can see like your progress on writing your essays. So that's one way that I could really have the mentee be independent from you, is really have them do the work and you being kind of like a guide for them and leading them in the right direction. Awesome. So I think our last question is, in what ways are mentors different from high school counselors? What can we provide to the mentees that someone else may not be able to provide for them?
So, I mean, counselors are very helpful in a few ways. If you have to build a good relationship so that, even when they're out of office, make sure, the transcripts are sent on time and things like that. But I come from a school, my graduating class was 274 students. And the counselor, was assigned by last names, and she definitely didn't know us personally, but getting to know them is important. First of all, they can write recommendations for you as well. But as a mentor, you get one-on-one or one-on-two, and you get to know every part of their story, and you can support them in every single method. They can help you fill out your common application, show you which extracurricular is definitely what you're most passionate about, what you can write about, what will shine through your application. And as a mentor, you can direct them in much specific ways than a counselor can, who just has pamphlets or some general overview of what's going on.
Yeah, so for me, I think that one of the really good things that we do is we are able to give mentees a perspective, how it feels like to be a low-income student in college, or how to apply as a low-income student. I went to a private school here in upstate New York, and even though my school had a 100% college acceptance rate, and my guidance counselor was really good, she couldn't give me the perspective of what it felt like to be a low-income student going to college, or she didn't really give me much information about financial aid. And so it's really helpful in order to prepare your mentee for college that you give them this perspective about what it's like to be a low-income student in college, what it's like to be, how to apply to a college as a low-income student. And that's not something that most students at school are getting. And even if they're going to school where there's more low-income students, I realize that they still don't get the information that they need in order to prepare themselves. So just having this good perspective about someone who is already successful in college and can balance college and really knows what it's like to be as a minority in college, it really helps them prepare for the next level.
Right. And I agree that as high school counselors, they are a good foundation. They lay out the foundation of what classes to take, when deadlines are. However, with the mentoring program, it's a much more personal relationship between mentors and mentees. And in this program, we do try to, we do try to pair mentors and mentees together. People we think we would work really well together, and so I think in that aspect, mentors would really help help emphasize the unique aspects of their mentees. It's much more personal. Yeah, so in that way, I think, it's the level of understanding for the mentees and the mentors is much more profound. So yeah, so their essays or their overall application would have a better chance of standing out more. So the person on the other end, meaning the college admissions officers, they would have a better understanding of the stories that our mentees are telling through their applications. Yeah. So yeah, we went through all of our questions. Are there any questions that you guys have or you would like to go over?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. So I think I'll leave it at this one last question. What advice can you give to rising high school students? Rising senior high school students.
In my time when I was going into high school year, I took on too much on my plate. I wanted to shine through my application that I took, like 5 APs my senior year, that I didn't slack off. But, I also did, apply to tons of flying programs, like Dartmouth bound. I had a lovely time there. But for that kind of month of like maybe October and November, I was, barely in class and handling these extra classes, be careful of, managing your time correctly between writing your essays, writing your college application essays, or these fly-in program essays. Keep track of what's important to you, what you need to take care of first, and, priorities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, one thing that I like to add is to all our mentees is don't be too anxious about your college prospects, because reiterate to your mentee that they're really smart and they'll do well in the college admissions process. For me, even though I was Quest Scholar at Trinity, so I knew like where I was going in December, but I saw friends who were saying by January that they won't get into any college, they won't get any good financial aid package, they won't get any scholarship, they'll just go to a community college, or which isn't bad, or like they'll say they'll never go to college because they can't afford it. And I realized that you're like our mentees are really smart, so don't be super anxious about it all fall through, and you'll eventually go to college that you really like and also you'll be able to afford and will fit you well. So I realize that a lot of mentees become really anxious, especially if they're applying to RD, and so just to relieve their nerves and keep on reading how smart they are, how great they've been doing is really important.
Right. So I think for all mentors out there, I think it's important to reiterate deadlines or make sure that your mentees are aware of deadlines. And like you said, Jennifer, it's really encouraging them, because I think there is a point where it's very straining mentally and emotionally going through the college application process. And also looking into colleges, I think there are many aspects to compiling a college application list. So you want to look at all different sides of a college, not a ranking that you would see online. So yeah, just really keep with deadlines, and for mentors out there, just keep in frequent touch with your mentees and motivate them and support them. Yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I would like to thank everyone viewing. I would like to thank you all. Thank you, Justin and Jennifer, for being here and helping us out, and our future mentors. Yeah, and all you viewers, all the college counselors or mentors. I hope this was very informational. And yeah, if you would like to message us, you can do that at the Collegiate Blog, outlook.com.